Hero of Champions, the first story. Long ago, there was a city called Karazm in Khorasan, Iran. A great wrestling champion named Porya Vali lived in the city, who was not only famous in Iran, but in many other countries as well. The citizens of Karazm were proud of Porya, who was brave and kind. Many young wrestlers came to the city asking for a match against Porya, the wrestling champion of the world. In the end, they all got beaten and had to go back home disappointed. One day, a young champion came from Karazm, from the city of Sistan, hoping for a wrestling match against Porya. When he heard the news, Porya went out to meet the wrestler, feeling sad that he would have to discourage another young man. When Porya visited the mosque to pray before meeting the young champion, he heard an old woman praying there. God, please let my son win the match against Porya. Bless my son with the strength of victory, please. Porya asked the old woman,
Who are you and why are you giving such a prayer?
My son is wrestling champion of Sistan. He came here to defeat Porya Vali and become the world champion. Would you please pray for my son's victory too?
If your son is truly a better wrestler than Porya, do we need to pray for his victory?
All I can do for my son is to pray. That's why I am praying. Listening to her answer, Porya smiled and said to the old woman,
If my prayer helps your son, I will pray for him.
Porya said goodbye to the old woman and went to meet the young champion. Porya prepared flowers, candies, and many other presents for the young man. The young man was very happy to meet Porya, the great wrestling champion. Porya and the young man enjoyed talking about wrestling for a long, long time, and finally Porya said to the young man,
I hope you will have a wrestling match with someone of your age. If you compete with an old man like me and lose, how embarrassing will it be?
Then the young man replied,
Dear Mr. Porya Vali, the greatest of all champions, how much longer do you think you will be the greatest? Don't you know someday a wrestler will defeat you and take the world championship away from you? Many men came promising they would defeat me, but none of them could. If a man comes to a match with fear in his heart, he will never win. When you were young, you must have challenged many champions yourself. If someone had advised you not to challenge at the time, would you have listened to him? I have had many victories and defeats, hoping to become the world champion someday. Now, I'm ready. Mr. Porya Vali, let's have a match. Am I not perhaps afraid of losing the match against this young man?
Porya thought while listening to the young wrestler's passionate speech. And he said to the young man,
Okay, I'll fight you with all my might because you may truly deserve the world championship.
Porya said goodbye to the young man and headed for the mosque. In the mosque, the young man's mother was still praying hard. God, if my son loses the match, neither of us can go back home. You're my son's guardian, so help him win, please. When he heard her prayer, Purya felt confused again.
What should I do not to break her heart? What can I do for the young man who challenges foolishly? If I lose, the people of Kharazm will be greatly disappointed, won't they? God, tell me what to do, please.
While praying like this, Purya realized that prayers wouldn't solve the problem. It was Purya himself who had to solve the problem.